Peace and blessings of God be on you. Today we will do question number 10. What is the logical proof of the fact that the Creator is very forgiving? In question 9, we showed that there is only one Creator of this universe. Hence, the law which we see in the material world should also be the law in the spiritual world, since the owner of both the worlds is the same. So, if we can prove that God is very forgiving in the material world, then it will logically follow that he must be very forgiving in the spiritual world as well. Now, just think about how many materially harmful things we do every day. The very water we drink, the very air we breathe, contain so many disease-carrying bacteria that it is amazing how we get to live for so many decades. Isn't it forgiveness which is working here? Someone may object that it is the defense mechanism of the body that is working in this case. My counter question to that person will be, who created the defense mechanism? In question 1, we proved that God created us and everything within us, which logically proves that it was God who created the defense mechanism within us as well. Also, think about how many times people overeat before overeating takes its toll. They get away with overeating once, twice, thrice, or even more than that before eventually suffering the bad consequences. Here again, forgiveness is an action. Also, we constantly are putting our eyes to the wrong use, but it takes a long time before our vision begins to suffer. For example, it is known that it is bad for the eyes to study a book while lying down, or to study in dim light, or to watch television, or to sit at computers for long periods of time. Yet, most of us do these things on a daily basis, but are forgiven for years and years before our eyes begin to suffer. That's forgiveness. The same goes with hearing. For example, it is bad for the ears to listen to very loud music. Yet, some people do this regularly, and they are granted decades of forgiveness before their hearing begins to suffer. Also, it is bad for the throat to yell or scream, and yet people are forgiven for decades before yelling and screaming takes its toll on the throat. We have thus demonstrated that God is very forgiving in the material world. This proves that he is also very forgiving in the spiritual world, based on what we said in the beginning, that he is the creator of both the worlds, so the same law should prevail in both the worlds. One thing should be noted here, that forgiveness of God that we have demonstrated in the material world is in cases where we are trying to harm ourselves and we are constantly being forgiven for that. Similarly, in the spiritual world, the same rule applies as long as it is a matter between you and God, because then you're only trying to harm yourself. But if you do wrong to some other person, then you first have to get the forgiveness from that person before you are eligible for God's forgiveness. And it is our common experience that people who are good at heart are very forgiving to others. And since we are created in the image of God, and the more good-hearted we are, the more accurate our image of God is, this provides another indirect proof that God must also be very forgiving, just because his good images are very forgiving. That finishes question number 10. Next time we will do question number 11, which says that if God is so forgiving, then why will there be hell for some people? God bless you.